Yo, what's up? Today we're talking about Nothing But the Night by John Williams. This was a book that was published by NYRB posthumously. He kind of denounced this for what he thought was immaturity. And after reading it, it's definitely my least favorite book by him, but kind of everything but the ending I really liked. But if you haven't heard of John Williams, he did Stoner, that's kind of what everyone knows him by, and Augustus. And then he also did Butcher's Crossing, which I reviewed last year. And he's easily one of my favorite authors. Stoner and Butcher's Crossing is some of my favorite books. They're equally as great, in my opinion. I can't really put one over the other. But this one falls a little short, both in quality and in page length. This is only 117 pages. So pretty much like a novella. But yeah, and it has a very creepy cover. I usually really like NYRB's designs and stuff, but they kind of missed it on this one. But yeah, so what's this about? Most of his books, like, he doesn't really follow any genres. Stoner is like an academic book about a professor. Butcher's Crossing is like a Western book. Augustus is about Julius Caesar. So like Roman Empire stuff. And then this is like a psychological thriller that takes place just kind of like modern day. For when he wrote it, it was like the 1950s, I believe, late 1940s maybe. But but yeah, so this is about a character who, a man who's in college around that age, and that's dealing with a lot of emotional and psychological turmoil. Having problems with his father and friends. Every person that he really like comes into contact with either wants something from him or something else like that, and he doesn't really like. I don't know. He feels very alone, and from what I can see, he is very alone. And so that's an understanding of his loneliness, and there's like something haunting him throughout the whole book, and you don't really know what it is until the end when it all kind of comes crashing down on him. And I really think this had a lot of potential. It kind of feels like he rushed the ending or something. I kind of read some stuff online that the ending just kind of feels complete. It kind of feels like it's thrown together somewhat. But this is, even though this book is so short, it's one book that, it's probably the book that I've like found the most words in. It had a lot of like vocab that I wasn't expecting, and he doesn't really do it in a pretentious way, which is what I like. But he uses really beautiful language with a lot of words I'd never heard of before, which I plan on going back and like making a list of all of them, because I underlined all the words I didn't know or like, or had heard of. Sometimes I tell myself I know words, and then I ask myself, what does this word actually mean? And I don't know. So even though I've heard some of the words too, I want to go down and actually work on my vocab. But it's definitely a book worth reading. Just don't expect the level as Stoner or Butcher's Crossing or Augustus or anything like that. But but yeah, and there's some trigger warnings. There's some like suicide, domestic violence, stuff like that, which I wasn't expecting, because none of his books or Stoner and Butcher's Crossing at least wasn't necessarily that violent. There was some violence in it, but like in Butcher's Crossing, but nothing to the level of this extent, and it wasn't like that at all until like the last 20 pages either. So definitely was a left turn for me that I wasn't expecting. But yeah, overall great book. except for the ending, as I've said before. But yeah, let me see if there's some passages that I can read to give you a sense of what it's about. But yeah, so he's kind of like wandering around, doesn't really know what he wants or what's to do, kind of existentialist, you know, he's depressed. Like he has an interaction with his father that doesn't go too well, and he has another interaction with a friend that only really wants money from him. And then he just stumbles into this nightclub, you know, just super depressed, starts drinking, and he happens to see this woman across the bar who's also alone, and they make eye contact, and then she ends up walking up to him, and they start a conversation, and apparently her date had like left her, so they just decide to start drinking together. And then all of a sudden, this performer, this dancer, singer, I can't really remember, but this person that everyone else in the bar has like come to see starts performing, and he isn't aware of her or the performance or anything. He just thought it was some, you know, regular kind of like fancy bar that he's sitting at a table. And so while this performer starts dancing or singing, it brings back memories of his mother, and he kind of like in the middle of this dinner scene, he just has a flashback, and all of a sudden he just experiences the memory that he's been like suppressing and blocking, and you finally understand like where, you know, his problems with his father is coming from, and like why he's having all these emotional problems. And at first you think this woman that he meets at the bar is going to save him, and they end up going home together, but I don't really want to spoil anything other than that. It definitely takes a left turn that I wasn't expecting, and just, yeah, it was just a wild ride. And it's definitely one that, now that I know the ending, I think I'll eventually go back, and since it's so short, have a reread. But yeah, if you like John Williams, if you like kind of psychological thrillers, this is definitely one worth checking out. Sorry, this is kind of all over the place. I haven't had really time to prepare. I've been really busy with building my van and working, and as you can see, I'm in a new spot right now, so I've just been kind of bouncing from place to place, so my life's a little hectic right now. But yeah, I'm hoping to do another video here soon. I just finished The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, so I plan on doing a review over that soon, if not within the next couple days. But yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks.